What's up, Faction? I'm back with your 9th edition of FitBiz Thursday. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be discussing personal brand creation and management, specifically from the perspective of being an employee at a facility like Cressy Sports Performance and managing and developing your own brand while collecting paychecks from the bigger brand that is CSP. The way that I'm going to attack this is going to be week one. Today we're going to talk about why it's a good idea to allow for employees to do so. And then next week we're going to dive into kind of the rules of engagement that allow for this to happen without any conflicts of interest or problems bubbling to the surface. So let's start by diving into 3 great reasons why you should allow your employees to do so, beginning with empowering your employees. I've listed employee empowerment as a great reason for allowing staff members to develop their own brands. And I say this because I'm of the mentality that empowered and autonomous employees are typically happy employees. This is because my staff spends their days focusing on being very good at training baseball players and understanding the art of arm care, but their evenings or early mornings or off hours from their shifts coaching in our gym are spent exploring areas of interest outside of baseball. And this is great because it keeps them intellectually stimulated. They very well may not be all that interested in baseball anymore. And it allows them to basically become experts in other realms. So they're creating unique areas of expertise by exploring their own interests. We might have somebody who's particularly interested in, say, knee assessment or low back, whatever it may be. And if they're going to pursue that in their off hours and focus on publishing content and learning as much as they can in these areas, it tends to lead to one-time consults, alternative revenue streams that come through the business, but most importantly, employees who are happy. And employee retention is a very big deal here. So we actually have only lost Tony Gentilcore because he deserved to make a whole lot of money more than we can pay him, and he moved on. And then we lost another coach named Brian St. Pierre back in the day who transitioned to be in performance nutrition with precision nutrition. So the coaches we lost, it wasn't because we were creating an unhealthy work environment for them, it was because they pursued different endeavors. But otherwise, staff members like Chris Howard, he's been around for close to a decade. Greg Robbins has been here for more than 5 years. The team tends to stay because we give them an opportunity to kind of be who they are outside of our business and even on the training floor. As far as the Strength House or Bonvec Strength or Newell Strength, whatever it is, those can peacefully coexist with us because we're allowing the employees to be empowered. The next big reason why I encourage employees to develop their own brand is because once they do so, it bolsters our identity here at Cressy Sports Performance, and basically it allows people to believe that we are employing a collection of all-star staff members. If they have a presence on the internet and they are recognizable for the material they put out, it only helps the identity of the brand as a whole. So what that also leads to is opportunity for the staff outside of our facility. So speaking engagement, invitations, opportunities to do staff-in services for other fitness facilities in the area. It might be writing opportunities and the unique consultation scenarios I mentioned before as well, in conjunction with people developing very specific areas of expertise. The last reason that it bolsters our identity is because having a collection of really good coaches and the industry thinking that way about our staff typically leads to a lot of employment inquiries. So people reaching out, asking if we're hiring or inquiring about our internship program. And that leads to really high quality candidates coming through the internship. And as we build the internship program and we build our network of really great coaches in the alumni database, making hires becomes very, very easy, and we end up continuously employing these rock stars of sorts. So my mentality is keep building your own personal brands because it's going to bolster CSP's perceived stance in the industry. So the third and arguably most important reason why I would encourage gym owners to empower their employees to build their own personal brands is because it keeps the bottom line a little bit more manageable. By this I mean attempting to give annual wage increases across the board for your team becomes backbreaking at times. It can be exhausting as your team grows and your payroll costs continue to grow. That's a huge number that you need to make up for as owners. So what we do is we let our staff figure out ways to create alternative revenue streams by building their own personal brands, and we encourage them to leverage their affiliation with our brand so that they can take advantage of our unique social media following or our space where they can record their videos for their online training, or working with our clients to allow them to create content ideas. All of these ways that they're leveraging Cressy Sports Performance as a whole to create additional earning potential for them outside of our business. It's fantastic because it means that I can keep payroll dollars relatively low when we sit down and we talk as a team about hourly wages, because they know that what they make from our business is not purely limited to what they make per hour, because there's so much more that goes into their earning potential than just that. The other thing to keep in mind is that as employees get better and more tenured, they become more expensive. And what I've come to learn is that sometimes allowing them to scale back on the hours that they're putting in on our training floor so that they can have additional time to pursue their personal endeavors is essentially perceived as a raise. And a great example would be Chris Howard, who I mentioned earlier. Chris has been running a manual therapy business out of our gym since 2009, I would say. And what started as a brief window, one afternoon a week, hit a point of he hit his ceiling with that, and he said, I'd like to scale it to a second day. And so that became 2 3-hour shifts each week. And then that became all day on Thursdays. And then he approached me and he said, I could make a killing if I had Saturdays off. So we said, sure, you can step off the clock and be full-time manual therapist on Saturdays. We're now at a point where Chris only works 2 strength and conditioning sessions a week on our training floor, and he's making a great living running a manual therapy business out of our manual therapy room here at CSP. And each time we sit down and talk about his performance at his annual review, we talk about how we can carve out more time for him to be more manual therapist than strength coach. It keeps him happy. It keeps our payroll dollars down because my most expensive employee is reducing his hours, and allows me to bring in high quality new young coaches to fill those slots, create some jobs, and continue to offer that manual therapy alternative revenue stream and complementary service for our clients. So everybody wins. So those are my 3 reasons why our team is encouraged to build their own personal brands. First, we're going to empower them. Second, it's going to help the identity of our brand as a whole. And third, it's really going to keep payroll dollars down, help me keep an eye on the bottom line, and continue to run an efficient, streamlined business. Next week, as I mentioned, I'm going to be back with an explanation as to how we make this personal branding work in conjunction with Cressy Sports Performance running fluidly. And you're going to learn the rules, the code of conduct of sort, or as I said earlier, the rules of engagement. And if you can follow those guidelines as an employee of ours and not overstep in any capacity, everybody can peacefully coexist. I look forward to passing that information along next week in the 10th edition of FitBiz Thursday.